Alright, it's recording. Hi, how's it going? I haven't been doing programming videos in a while, but I thought I'd get back into it. This is my first one, so I'm just kind of testing things out, so bear with me. I'm doing a little exercise in Java. I'm basically just going to write a simple Java program that takes an input from the user and checks if there's any doubles in the input. It's a very basic project, but here we go. I'm using for reference, I'm using the Think Java book. Let me see. Think Java, How to Think Like a Computer Scientist. It's an open source book. It was all done in LaTeX. So all the source code for actually producing the book and all the source code for the exercises is all available on GitHub. The string chapter, this chapter on strings is pretty good. Let's see. I'm looking for here we go. I'm probably, to do this, I think I can do everything I need to do with just the length and the char at functions. So let me see. Okay, so I have my really simple file with just the basic class and main method, count double Java, just have a little hello world print thing. So in order to get, I'm using Emacs as my text editor and a terminal. If you're using something like Eclipse, you can just kind of like run that in the console and you don't have to deal with compiling it every time. But for me, this is easier, so I'm just going to do Java C to compile it, count double, and then so I don't have to do separate commands, I'll just do double ampersand to add another command to this, and I'll do Java. Well, actually, let me just run this to show you what it does. So we have just the count double Java file. So now we have count double class and count double Java. And so in order to run the count double class, we'll enter count double Java, double ampersand, and Java count double. And then you don't need the class when you're just running with Java. And then you get the hello world. So So I'm going to need to use a scanner. Let's see, how does that scanner in? I'm just gonna make a little input prompt. And I'm doing print instead of println because println has a built-in new line character, which the new line, you could add it yourself. Like, I think in C, which is similar to Java, you just have the regular print, and then you just always add the \n new line character, but in Java there's a separate function for it. I think it's kind of clunky. I think it would make more sense to just enter the new line. What is this? Change that to in. Call that user text. Oh, I see. This needs to be declared as a type. And then, of course, I forgot to enter the input for the scanner. Just add a basic little description. It worked. Let's do, just to make it a little bit more readable, I'm going to put a new line over here. No, that's too much. I guess I just didn't save it last time. There we go. Now I've got user text as a string. That's, the project is halfway done. So now we need to check for double chars, and we'll do that with a check for double method that takes user text as an input. So this is our main method, and so I'm going to step outside of that. I thought I had little bracket highlighters to show me where. I don't know. I just set up this is like a new Arch Linux install. I'd put a lot of work into my Emacs configuration for working with Clojure. I guess I haven't fully moved my new Emacs stuff over. Okay. Making a new method, declaring it with public static void. Void meaning it doesn't return anything, like it doesn't return an integer or a char or something like that. It's just going to, it's going to take the string as an input, and then because that's all we need to do in this program, it doesn't need to output anything out of that method. It just needs to like take the input and report on it. This is I didn't mention what this is. When I set this computer up, I installed Java 9, so Java 9 is the first Java that comes with a Java shell built in, which seemed like Python has had a shell like this for a long time. I think the Python shell is so convenient. I always use like whenever I need to use a calculator, like the Python shell is my go-to calculator because they have all these things built in, like the logarithms and all the like trigonometry functions are very easy to use, where like doing that stuff on like a regular digital calculator is not as simple. It's got, so yeah, I'm hoping I get to some point where the shell will come in handy for testing something out, but I'm not used to using it for Java. So I did this just for kind of like a fun experiment. I tried doing this. Let me make this full screen for a second. I tried doing these like one-liners, you know, like writing a simple little loop in one line. So, you know, you write that, and so I said it's like a for loop and a for loop, and each time it loops through, it prints out an increasing number of asterisks. So I thought that was kind of cool. You can, like, I could go over here and make this like 190. Alright, so now I need to get back to what the heck. Oh. Did it not like that I broke this up? yeah, so I'm getting the string here and passing it to this method. So now this method has that, which is cool, but it's I'm just gonna make this short. And this is just a little debugging print statement. I'm not actually including this in the finished program. Yay! Okay. So now what we need to do, we're going to want to use string length. So we're going to use char at, which takes an index of a string and returns the char of that. So like in Java, a char is a different data type, where like a char takes up a different amount of memory than a string. And you do a lot of, like when working with strings, there's a lot of like passing, you know, you'll break a string up into an array of chars and then re-merge those back into a string. I think you do, I'm starting to learn a little bit of C, and I actually think that in C, if I understand it, like chars are, like maybe they don't even have strings in C? I don't know. I need to learn more about that. But I mean, like a string is just a collection of chars. So let's print out. I'm pretty sure that's not going to work. Yes. Cool. So, looks like all this debugging stuff is working. Now we just need to do the actual looking for chars. So we're just going to do that with a simple for loop. So I'm going to say for I equals 0, starting I at 0. If I is less than or equal to. And then each time, I plus plus means each time you run this loop, add 1 to I, it runs the loop once at 0, and then it adds the I the second time, which is a little bit confusing because you put this at the start, so you might assume that it does it each time. But it's basically saying like run the loop, and then this is the last in line, so it's like do all this stuff, then add 1 to I. I'm just making sure the video is recording. I'm still kind of new to this. I need some way else, some other way to monitor that. Okay. Free errors, yay. I need to declare that. So I need to, what I did, the reason I was getting an error was I needs to be declared as an integer. So it's just telling it that I is a whole number without a decimal. One thing that's really confusing about Java types is there's integers and doubles, where a lot of other times, like, I think Python, they're just referred to as floats, but a float is, something also in Java, but so there's a double and a float, and I think the difference is like the number of decimal places that data type uses. I remember, like, a long time ago, floating point graphics was something that was advertised for video game consoles as like a really cool feature. So like you could actually have a character in the game that wasn't just add an integer value. They could actually be somewhere between 1 and 2. It's really, really funny. Let's see. Oh, making these videos is harder than it looks. I should have. I think it's probably obvious that I didn't practice this beforehand, which I think is kind of good because I think a lot of times people watch these tutorial videos and people have just practiced completely, and you don't really get a good sense for problem solving, and I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I'm fixing these errors, and that one should be fixed. No errors. That's funny. I meant to put I here, so it would just basically print hello vertically, but I forgot to do that, so it just printed all those E's out. Yeah! Look at that. Hello, H-E-L-L-O. There we go. So now, just off the top of my head, I think I want to put another for loop in this for loop that looks at and compares, let's see. I'm gonna scoot this. This program's getting a little bit long. So now, okay, so we've got a loop that loops through every character, and then at every character we loop through again and check if that character is we don't. I don't really need to do that. So I could just do if string dot char at I equals so I'm just gonna make an integer that is called double count. I should declare this outside of the loop. Double count equals 0. And so each time that char A is equal to char B, double count plus equals 1, which is double count plus equals 1 is shorthand for count equals so this is the same as this. I believe that this convention comes from C. I have a copy of the Dennis Ritchie 2nd edition C book. I did my first couple like C programs recently, so I'm going to look into learning C programming, and I think that this is a convention that comes from that. Okay, so double count. I should mention that I'm sure there's some, if any experienced programmers are watching this, they're cringing a little bit. I recently switched from Vim to Emacs, so I'm still a little rusty with the key commands. I installed Evil mode today, which is a mode that lets you do Vim commands in Emacs, but I've never been able to get it to work the way I like it. It's, I've got Vim down here. It's kind of weird. What I think I'm kind of settling on is like, I still use Vim for if I need to quickly look at something in the terminal. So if I'm just like browsing around, and I use NeoVim, so I made a bash alias, so just n launches NeoVim. If I wanted to look at count double real quick. I really like. I really like this. I think I'm still working on my Emacs color scheme. I really like this Vim color setup. The thing I like about Vim is you can do you move around with J and K and H and L. So I could do like 12L it just takes me to the end of the line. If I want to go down 12 lines, I just do 12J, 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 12J. Oops. I'm constantly jumping back and forth between Vim and Emacs. I can never settle on one. Which wouldn't really be a problem because they serve different purposes. Like Emacs is for editing large files, and Vim is for like quick edits, but if I could if I could find a way to get the Vim key bindings to work better on Emacs, it would be make my life a whole lot easier. But for now, I'm just kind of struggling with as everyone says that it's good to just learn the Emacs key bindings before you get too carried away with customizing them. So this basically worked. It just saw that there's one, it counted the one double. Oh, I see what. So it's going out of range because I'm asking it to do this, make temp B. So I need an if statement here. So I want to say this is a not equals thing. So if I is not equal Okay. This should be easy to fix. For int I equals 0, I is greater than string length. Okay, so I don't really need all this old debugging stuff. So I'm going to just refactor everything, remove all the old debugging, and then add new debugging, and that should fix this. It's a really, whatever the problem is, it's really simple. But instead of just, I know it's a simple problem, but instead of just looking for it and finding it, I need to refactor and clean up anyway. So my way of thinking is like, okay, so I need to refactor, and I need to find this bug. The best way to do that is to refactor, take out all the old debugging, and then you'll just find it instead of like trying to fix the bug and then refactoring afterwards. So like my approach to programming is always, it's like based around like constantly refactoring and making sure that everything's as simple as possible. I'm gonna microwave some more coffee. I'll be right back. All right. Refactoring time. Import scanner, ask user for input. User input, scanner in, new scanner. Enter some text. Check for double chars. Main method looks good. Public static void, check for double string. String.length is 5. I'm gonna leave this. So now we just have that one. Debug for int I equals I is less than string length. This should be string length -1, figured it out. The string length, my iterator starts at 0, and the string length just counts the string length starting at 1. That's like programming 101 mistake. I'm done! Just gotta clean it up. Ba-bum-bum. Awesome. I think we're done. Thank you for watching.